All right, welcome in everybody to another edition of the weekly edition of the Bully the board meeting. As always, it's your boys Seth, Kevin, and Steve with you.
What up?
We might be having a little bit of technical difficulties, lag and whatnot. If that, bear with us if it does come through weird, but something we've been noticing. So we will proceed. We will go on nonetheless. We don't stop for shit here, baby. So week 16 is in the books. It was a good weekend. Small slates from the models, from the model output, but a 2-on-1 week overall. So it was a good weekend, good holiday weekend. So, Steve, if you had an overarching takeaway, what would you walk away with from the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, this was the first time in a long time I felt like comfortable. And if you know, as a degenerate bettor, you never feel comfortable because you can get fucked, 7 ways till Tuesday. But I felt really good going into this week. I really thought Giants money line was going to cash, and for a minute there, it was looking pretty good. But obviously we lost the Falcons by a point there, but I felt good.
Yeah, how about you, Seth? Because I know you were busy with some family obligations and stuff like many of us were, but yeah,
it was a good one. It was a good week. There was a little bit of in-game sweat. That Giants, we called this the model. The model called this had it. Giants are the better team. Minnesota's just an average team, and really without that block punt, that game is very different. But man, the Falcons game, that one was so frustrating because they were in the goal, they were in the red zone on the goal line a couple of times right there in the fourth, and we had every opportunity to cover that spread. And in fact, they go for it. They on fourth, they don't get it. Then the next drive, they kick a field goal. So if they would have just kicked the field goal both times, we would have been money.
I know. Four trips
it is what it is.
Inside the red zone, no touchdowns. I think even inside the 10-yard line a couple times, no touchdowns. Yeah. So it was kind of brutal. But I forget if we were all on the same page on that one, but I know for my money that was like, oh, I don't know. This
of the three, this is the one I thought would lose. Yeah. But that 49ers game, that felt pretty good. That felt good because the model had it big. The model had it by that margin. So not surprised.
Yep.
So I mean, it was always nice to book a profit, whether it's small or large, but yeah, overall we were right there. I mean, the Falcons bet was not a bad bet. It was not a bad bet. We were right there.
Right.
Definitely were. Yeah. I know you said last week that you were going to parlay them all. Did you end up doing that and also taking them straight?
So Seth? Full transparency, I took them straight, but no parlay.
You didn't? Okay.
Was traveling, and once I got to where I was going, it was not legal sports betting. So as you know, I was calling in some favors, Kevin, but I didn't like the Falcons. I think I said that at the end, and so I didn't pull the trigger. I just went with the straight, which I'm glad because I would have erased profit. But I will say I'm leaning pretty heavily towards it this week as well. Not to spoiler alert, but we'll break that down here in a minute.
Ooh, interesting. A little tease. Okay, good. I like it. So yeah, overall a good solid weekend. It wasn't an otherwise like bizarre weekend either across the league as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there was a couple of strange ones, like the Texans outright beat the Titans, which on paper it's kind of strange, but I mean Malik Willis,
but no Tannehill.
No Tannehill, right? And he's obviously got benched. Malik Willis got benched even basically, and picked up a dude off the practice squad.
Yeah, they're pulling a Baker.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. The fucking Bengals and Patriots game was another wild one. So hey, you know what? Which might just unfortunately be the perfect segue here. So it's official, baby. It's dead. DOA, time of death, week 16. Bengals under 10. This was another one, man, Steve. 2 weeks in a row where the Patriots had their chances, but fucked it up.
Yeah. You know what? This one hurt. The Patriots were out of that game for most of the game, honestly, and then they had this late drive and really should have won it. Had a chance to win it almost twice. So that one hurt, obviously, for multiple reasons. Fuck this twice on the futures and just my pride more than anything else. But I mean, don't look now. Listen, going back to the top of this list, what my wildest game from the week was the Panthers. Yeah, so I had the three bets obviously, but I was feeling myself because I felt confident going to this week. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a winning week. I feel in my bones. So I'm gonna sprinkle. And I went with the Lions, and that was an absolute stomping. I mean, stomping. So yeah, I mean the Panthers 1 win away, fighting for the NFC South title, 1 win away from the futures. I'm a little nervous.
Crazy. I'm very nervous.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, because I've been team delusional Bengals under. How do you guys feel about this Panthers under? There's 2 games left. What do you think?
Yeah. So for me, my money. So this one's interesting because they play the Bucks this weekend. Massive game, right? And the Bucks just are not great, and we'll probably maybe talk about them a little more coming up here in a sec. But
yeah,
it's in Tampa Bay. I mean, I don't know that could. I have a hard time envisioning that the Bucks lose outright. I'll just say that. But that's going to be a very interesting game. And then let's just assume they lose against the Bucks. They play the Saints to wrap up the season, which I don't think the Saints are going to win this week in Philly. I think that the over rate's going to be dead this week. Chance for pushes even out the door. But if they somehow pull a rabbit out the hat and beat Philly, which would be nothing short of a miracle, then the last week of the season, it'll be one of those bittersweet deals, Panthers versus Saints, because one's going to win, one's going to lose. So
yeah, yep.
And then the fucking Patriots, talked about it just a second ago, botching 2 games in a row, basically late game scenarios. This one though, I mean, despite all their fuckery, are still in it. They're playing Teddy Two Gloves this week, as with the backup in, and it's in. I forget. Is it in? We just talked about this yesterday. Is it in New? Yeah, it's in New England.
It's in New England. Yeah.
Yep. So that's a winnable game for them, I think, but nothing's guaranteed.
I feel the best about the Patriots, and here why. Not because we have a futures bet. The reason I feel the best about the Patriots because they have to win out to make the playoffs, and I think the Patriots are one of those teams that no matter how bad they look, there's always that FU, and they get into the playoffs somehow. They have to go in and beat a Miami team without Tua that hasn't won in the entire month of December. And then when they do that, they're going to play a Bills team who, if they take care of business against the Bengals, they don't have anything to play for. So you could have a rested Bills team. Think about it. What team besides the Packers could you just say, oh, of course they have a bad year and they still make the playoffs somehow? The Patriots. So I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I know. And I think I've been saying kind of something similar for a few weeks, at least in my head. I don't know if I said it vocally.
No, yeah, you've been saying that. You've been hoping for that week 18 Bills rest.
It could come down to that. It could come down to that, man. So that one's still alive. So futures looking, I mean, two of them rather are still alive, but it's perilous. It is certainly perilous at this point.
That Panthers pick is interesting only because the dynamics of the division. Like, I think we would be fucked if it otherwise wasn't for that. But to be honest, we're gonna get to it here in a minute. The Panthers are red hot. Spoiler: they're the best EPA offense in the league. Hot.
It's weird. It's so bizarre.
I know, and yeah, I mean, I'm just reflecting back when we were like, okay, we got, we other than the Broncos, which just happened, we had our model had predictably, had both fired coaches unders.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good spot to be in.
Right, I know.
And here we are, the Panthers that are just punching up, man. They are just winning games and then losing games that don't make sense to me. So I don't know. And then the Patriots, their defense is good, but their offense just is horrible. Yeah. It's horrible.
It's brutal.
And I don't know, Steve. I don't know that I can get behind it. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but this is not Patriots of old. Bill Belichick's dying in front of us. Everybody wants to talk about, the decay of Tom Brady. We're seeing the decay of Bill Belichick and his whole, like, I don't know, what are you, godlike coaching? I mean, he's made a pretty big mistake hiring Matt Patricia as the offensive coordinator, and it is more than clear. I mean, they can't do anything on offense.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. And like I said, I know this is definitely something I feel more so. I feel more confident because of the Patriots in the playoffs than any other like actual objective model or statistic or data point. But with that being said, the one thing that no model on the market, including ours, is accounting for that I think it's we're missing, and it's very obvious: cheating. No model accounts for cheating. And what better time for Belichick to pull out that one last rabbit out the hat for his season life? I think I'm with you. I think we're watching the decay of Bill Belichick, but he's not going down without a fight. I guarantee you, we've got some deflate gate level shit ready to go. So,
oh man,
you're
speaking to all the riggers, as we've called them in the chat that can't just claim that the NFL is anything but rigged. And I guess this is hey, look, I mean, good point, Steve. We're calling it loud and clear. If there's a time to cheat, now's the time. Right now, this is when you got to pull out the stops.
2 weeks left, man. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I am not surprised that. I guess 3 of these at this point technically are coming down to a sweat. But I guess that's the beauty of doing futures. I mean, you don't want the shit to be wrapped up too early. Where's the fun in that?
True. And I mean, we're I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I mean, could you imagine? There's a scenario where we profit because the Saints push.
Yeah,
which would be kind of wild.
It would be.
But
we'll be back here next week talking about either potential two additional losses on the futures or all 3 potentially still
week 18.
There's a lot of crazy scenarios just with 2 weeks left. So it's fun, but that's where the future stands so far. Officially 1-1, nothing more, nothing less now.
Yeah, just a quick update on Eagles Super Bowl. We took a little bit of step back with the loss, which I'm not surprised. Win this week will lock up first number 1 seed.
Finish off the playoffs. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that will be. I would be surprised if we're right around 850 for that ticket. Right around there, I think. So it's trending good. It's trending well.
For the first time, baby, the Chargers Super Bowl also has life. Clinched a playoff berth.
They made the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's big. And you can see they popped up here on the EPA scale. They've been hiding. They've been hiding behind the Steelers for a while.
Yeah. The only unfortunate thing is their odds are far longer than they are now than they were at the beginning of the season. I think they're like 25 plus 2,500.
I looked. Football Outsiders has their to win the divisional round at 0.3%.
That's funny. Yeah.
This team has been decimated by injury, though. If they could catch fire, I mean, they have the pieces if they could just get healthy.
Mm-hmm. I just saw Bosa's coming back, or he's going to be activated off of IR, and they might get their tackle back that they lost also, their left tackle, which both big. So, who knows? Could catch lightning at the right time. So, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be huge. We could get AFC Chargers versus Eagles.
Could you imagine?
Don't even tease me with that right now.
Fair. That's a good point. Good point.
All right, man. So looking at the efficiency landscape here through week 16, not a ton of swing or movement, I think, broadly here. I mean, still a lot of the same players. But you mentioned them earlier, Seth, and I don't know if it's more appropriate to jump to the last four games here or the in the aggregate here. But the Panthers, talk to us a little bit about them.
Panthers, man, they're looking. I mean, that 4 week shows a crazy jump.
So who's better? Nobody.
Who's better? Who with
offensively?
Oh, yeah, no one over the last 4 weeks, which is pretty gnarly. Now their defense obviously struggles, and I have the raw EPAs up here above me. So for the whole season, they're 3.7 points under average on offense, and they're 0.2 points above average on defense. So that puts them at like 26th EPA net overall.
Mm-hmm.
But those last 4 weeks, they have been playing a different. So I don't know. That's pretty gnarly. Now they haven't played the craziest teams, right? They played Seattle. Yeah. Played bad defenses, basically. Like, I mean, I guess good for them.
Yeah, it's good for them. You're right, but wah for us.
Who were those last 4 games? Seattle,
they had Lions,
Pittsburgh,
Steelers, Seahawks, and Broncos.
Broncos. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, not. I mean, hey, you can only play who's in front of you, right? But like, it's still
true.
It's not a great slate, but it's impressive still.
Yeah,
but then
let me take it back here.
Yep.
So the top 5 net EPA. So they saw this graph. The top 5, in order, is Philly 1, San Francisco 2, Kansas City 3, Dallas 4, Buffalo 5, and Cincinnati. We can call them an honorable mention at 6. But Philly, from a net standpoint, is 3.5 points more on average than the rest of those teams, which is pretty incredible.
So in other words, they're 3.5 points ahead of the second place.
Basically, if they play any of those teams
Niners?
And everybody's healthy, they're going to be at least 2.5 point favorites.
3-point favorite. Yeah,
probably not 3, but at least 2.5, I would imagine. Which is pretty crazy to think about.
Hey, man. And you know what? And this isn't necessarily related to the efficiency stuff, but I think they're in line for a top 10, top 8 pick in the draft too, because of the who do they trade with? I forget off the top of my head. But
last year, rich
get richer, baby. Like, they are sitting pretty. It's good to be Eagles fan.
Them and the Lions. They took all the draft picks from LA.
They did, but I mean, Lions are not dead, but they're not like a juggernaut by any means, so they could still use a few pieces, right?
Yeah. So we're going to talk about it. Can we go to the 4? We're going to talk about the breakdown, but the Vikings, man, they're still they took a little step forward. They're a little bit better than average, but man,
I'm sure you've seen it, and I don't know how this is quantified in models or in any spread setting type of capacity, but 11 games, NFL record, I believe, for in 1-score games this year.
Yep,
absolutely nuts. Like, you want to talk about crazy variance? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
they literally had the most. Here, go, Steve.
No, I was just saying that. Yeah, I mean, it's either they're clutch, the most incredibly clutch team of all time, or they are punching up well beyond what they actually should be doing. I definitely think it's the latter, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. No one wants to talk about, like, it's all about primetime Kirk and not clutch, and this dude is like breaking records left and right. But they legitimately have the most improbable comeback of all time.
Right.
Like, that they can't test the theory more. So I don't know. It's an interesting team. We're gonna break down the matchup here. You know, call me a flip flopper. I got to do what I got to do to make the model, make sense. But I mean, you can make a case here that Green Bay is underachieved and they've gotten hot here in the last couple of weeks, and I think we can use the Lions as a bit of a test case here of what's going to happen or what could happen. When you get to basically when you use these 4 weeks, the reason why you wouldn't want to, we believe you wouldn't want to do that from an analysis standpoint, is because you can very much either overestimate or underestimate based off those 4 games, because teams either play a really, really hard streak or a really, really soft streak, and it makes a team look very different than they are. Are the Panthers the #1 offensive EPA, aka the most efficient team on offense in the whole NFL? Fuck no.
Come on. Yeah.
But in the last 4 weeks, they are.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things. I mean, the Eagles have stayed consistent.
Very
San
true.
Francisco stayed pretty consistent. That defense is crazy.
That's a problem.
Tampa Bay is dead. I don't see everyone's saying, oh, this is Tom Brady's time. Like, I don't think so. I don't think it's Tom Brady. That team is not good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is not a player problem. This is not a Tom Brady problem per se. I don't think he's not. He hasn't been terrible, frankly. If looking at his numbers or his rankings in certain places, but yeah, I don't know. What's your thesis, Seth, on like the? I mean, they can't run the ball. We know that they absolutely blow on that front, but that's not it. That's not only it, I should say.
I mean, I think it is. Well, I think they lost a lot of efficiency. I think they had two key injuries at offensive line. That always sucks.
Yeah.
Then once you can't run the ball, what do you like? You're screwed because the defense is going to just play very differently. I think Leonard Fournette has a Liz Frank injury. So not only can they not run the ball, the dude's got a broken foot. I think Todd Bowles, that's the head coach. I don't know that guy is going through growing pains. It's just not the team that they're used to. They're used to being very efficient on pass and run, and they're just not there. And I think that the lack of balance just must be throwing Tom Brady for a loop. Now, he's clutch 1-2 games when they were down, and you see the Tom Brady effect. But if they get to the playoffs, I think it'll be a slaughter, unfortunately. Call AB back, man.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, like, you lose Ryan Jensen, you use Tristan Wirfs. Like, those are two all-pro offensive linemen, right? You can't run the ball. You're at the bottom of the league in that, and you can't ask Tom Brady at this age to throw 50-plus times a game to win a ball game for you every week. You can't. Teams are going to tee off against them, and we all know if you want to beat Tom Brady, you rattle Tom Brady, you hit him, and if they know you can't run the ball, what are they going to do? So yeah, I agree. It's not a Tom Brady issue. But yeah, I think they're definitely overachieving. That's the hype. It's a feel-good story. But yeah, I don't think they're going to make it very far.
We'll see. Bucks Panthers, baby.
Now let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this hypothetical: if you got a Bucks Vikings first round matchup,
who do you pick?
Yeah, right, right.
Vikings. Oh my God, Vikings. That's probably the only scenario where you're picking Vikings, right? Because I know you said a while ago you were fading them hard come playoffs. Or you wanted to.
Well, except for that, who's more fraudulent? I mean, that's what I put when I posted the card. I said, who's more fraudulent, Green Bay or the Vikings? Because honestly, you could say the same about Green Bay in the last couple of games. They beat up on bad teams.
The Bears, the fucking
the Bears, the Lions, the Rams. So I don't know. That's a good question. We'll see. I just got to get to the playoffs. I mean, this season has been so gnarly. So gnarly. Yeah. I mean, historic. Literally historic. The most one possession endings ever.
Wow.
This is crazy. The most. Let me make sure I understood that. The more games have ended in one possession, within one possession than ever before.
Correct. In any other season.
That is fascinating. Yeah, and it's not even we haven't even played week 18 yet, which is the extra week, which to bonkers. All right, Circa update, baby. So, Steve, walk us through what happened because we're trying for that first place, that last quarter of the season, first place.
So we fade the fade, right? So again, we had another unintentional 0-5 or 5-0 week, depending on how you want to look at it. So we're gunning for the top. So last week we had a 3-2 week. So we had Giants +4, Falcons +6.5, Niners -7, Dolphins -3.5. Which RIP Tua, man. That was brutal to watch. And then we had Chargers -4.5.
I didn't get to watch the game. What happened?
He got concussed is what happened. So there was a hit where he was throwing out to the flat and he was getting tackled as he threw. When he got tackled, he fell backwards and whipped his head on the ground. And it's funny because like now you kind of look back at it. You have all these folks who were like at that play, because again, it's classic Miami. First half they were rolling, right? Yeah. After that play, Tua then goes on to throw interceptions on 3 consecutive drives, including the game losing interception after they made a stop and had a chance to go down the field for a touchdown to win the game. So I mean, dude did not look sharp whatsoever. Like there's being on the wrong.
So he didn't get pulled.
No, which is going to be a whole other thing, dude. That's another time, dude. Tua should not. This is not like a hate on Tua for the man's safety. He should not play another game this season regular or postseason. That the dude's this dude. All right, I mean, just bless up, man. You do talking about CTE. So
whoa,
we got so we went 3-2. So right now we're 11-4 for the quarter, which means we have 11 points. Currently the first place spot does have 13.5 points, so they're 13-1-1. So we're 2.5 points out of first place. So first place quarter is 150K.
wow.
Yeah. And then they have prizes up to fifth place. Fifth place is 10K. So
how
many
spots are we away? I know 2.5 points. Hundreds, thousands.
So, no. We're tied for 56.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, okay, I said this last time when we were on the other, so I'm gonna play it cool.
Steve, let me clarify. So for this quarter specifically, or was it for all quarters, they also have second and third place prizes?
Yeah, so overall they do too, but we are not in those runnings. But this quarter we're definitely in the game. We're high in the game.
Okay. All right, baby. Well, let's go. Speaking of high in the game, we'll have 3 picks at least figured out. We'll have to do a little finagling for the other 2, but week 17, look ahead here. So, all right, Mr. Gonna flip the script to fit your narrative here. Vikings +3.
That's right.
We're not buyers in them long term.
No,
on the whole. But this week against the Packers, we're taking them. Miles taking them +3 here. Patriots -2.5 against the Dolphins, and you see it there. Assumes Teddy starts, which I don't think there's an assumption there.
It's been confirmed. Yeah, actually, yeah. It looks like both of these. The Hurts isn't confirmed, but there's video of him throwing, and it looks like he's going to play. The market's reacted. It was down to 5.5. It's now bounced back to 6.5, 7. So all indications are both those are going to be good to go.
Be plays, yeah, because we said yesterday, and we haven't posted videos yet, but if Hurts did not start for the Eagles, then this would not be a model play for us.
Yeah,
no play with Minshew. So three official plays. Let's get into them a little bit here. So I gotta give me your sell job, Seth, on the Vikings, because Steve and I were going back and forth a little bit on this yesterday. We're like, I don't really know why the Vikings, the model likes the Vikings here, with one exception. So I want to get your thoughts beforehand.
Yeah. Okay. So offensive EPA, they're pretty similar. I would give it's a 1 point edge to Green Bay offensively. Defensively, however, it's a 3 point edge for Minnesota. Now, this is to me we're bowl season. This is a bowl in the NFL. This is the bowl of the most fraudulent. Except the winner gets to the winner, I guess, is not fraudulent, and the loser is who we think they are. I think that these are pretty comparable teams, and I think that the 3.5 is just too much. Because basically, no matter what you look at, the true line here should be around 0 or 1, and they're getting a lot of credit. Green Bay is. We saw this exact thing play out. Green Bay versus Tennessee. We saw this, and when Aaron Rodgers isn't just super efficient offensively, throwing the ball, getting to Watson, getting to all these young guys, of which I think there's some injuries there this week.
Yeah,
I think that who have we seen more be consistently more mediocre? And me, that's the Vikings. We've seen variance from Green Bay. We've seen bad games, and then we've seen good games, but we've actually not really seen too much just even keel. And so you're betting that. It's basically, can the Vikings just do what they normally do, just pull a rabbit out of a hat, which at this point in time, they're kind of used to doing. Now, it is in Green Bay. It is December. Actually, it'll be January 1st. It'll be 2023, first game of 2023. You can see the EPAs right there. Negative, negative, negative. There's only one EPA per pass play that's for the Vikings. And I don't know. Justin Jefferson, look him to be streaking across the field and getting TDs all day. That's all I can kind of hang my hat on and pray.
Yeah. Steve, how do you, because when we just had the DVOA stuff in front of us yesterday. We didn't have the EPA stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Green Bay is worst, the 32nd ranked rush defense team.
And I mean, you take away one overtime win against the Cowboys in prime time, right? What have the Packers done over the last 6 weeks, right? Lost to the Lions. They lost to the Titans. They lost to the Eagles. They beat the Bears, the Rams, and effectively a Tua-less Dolphins team when it really came down to it in the stretch, right? And so to Seth's point earlier, yeah, they're hot. They're hot because they've played terrible competition. Yeah. Right. And so, I mean, even with Tua, we know the Dolphins defense has been suspect. So listen, give credit where credit's due. The Green Bay's playing, but I think this is, like Seth said, this is a battle of the frauds, but we know who the Vikings are. The Vikings are consistently fraudulent, but we know what their floor is versus the Packers are, yeah, they're getting hot at the right time because they're playing trash competition. So I do like the 3, love the 3.5 for sure. Yeah. I can see this being a very close game, a la what we saw in against the Giants. But
who won that game?
Man. Yeah,
Giants, Green Bay.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Cheerio.
So, yeah. Right. Exactly. So yeah, it didn't make sense, from a number standpoint per se. We can look at it from a season long thing, but let's not overreact, right? And that's why I do like this pick.
Yeah. I mean, and looking here, like a non-adjusted EPA line is that Green Bay would be plus 1.3 points. So I mean, how is Lambeau worth 3.5 points almost?
Right.
Almost 4.5 points at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Not
especially. Yeah, maybe not this season, and also not that. I don't know how you could even account for this mathematically or otherwise, but at least the Vikings play there every year.
Twice. Play there every year and then play the team twice. And we always talk about this. The hardest thing to replicate is practice in cold because you can't prepare. Vikings, just go outside for practice. All good. Yeah. It's probably colder.
Yeah, exactly. So there's familiarity there. So I mean,
by no means do I want to take it. Like, can the Vikings lose? Yes. And would I be that surprised? No. But I think 3.5 is just way too much. I don't get this line. Yeah. It's hard to understand market dynamics for when they misprice this stuff. But even it looks like from a betting standpoint, this thing keeps going from 3 to 3.5. So there's action on both these numbers. It's hard for me to see what switch actually got turned in Green Bay. I'm not actually seeing. I'm just seeing that they beat up on bad defenses. Well, right. That's very, and the Vikings are not a bad defense. They're a mediocre defense. So
so this will be no, I hard to I think disagree with a lot of that. I mean, it'll be interesting. So 3.5 I feel really good about. 3 okay, but 3.5 just looks and feels a lot more warm inside, Okay, so assuming again Hurts starts, which all indications are that he will.
Yeah,
I didn't see that today, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, he was throwing today on film. So, and then the market's shot back up. So, I mean, that
did it. Then that's all it's reacting accordingly.
But confirmed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Eagles minus 6.5. They have a chance to wrap up the number 1 seed and home field advantage in the playoffs. Everything to play for. Saints are just limping to the end of the season. Basically, I'm not really sure. There is a ton of surprise in this one, frankly, with how the line is set, number 1, or number 2, with what I expect the outcome to be of the game. So how do you feel about this one, Steve?
Yeah, don't overthink this. Don't overthink this. Just take it. Take it. It's 6.5. It's a good bet.
6.5. 6.5.
Take it. Right. And Sirianni had a kind of a weird presser earlier today. And he's like, somebody asked him, like, how's Hurts doing? He's like, if you try to fight him, he beats you up. If you try to throw a football, he throw it farther than you. It's like, so he's good then. You could have just said he's good. Like, it was a very weird roundabout way of saying he looks pretty healthy. And like you said, they have everything to play for here. They want to get that first round bye all locked up. And the Saints, it's the Saints, right? So, this is we don't do locks of the week. We don't do plays of the week. But, this is the one where if I have to bet, my rent money or, anything like that, this is the one I'd have to put it on.
But to Seth's point, and say a little more on this, 7 is a key number, though. If this moves past 7, then it's,
no bet.
It's no bet.
There's no more edge. You're eating to the edge based on the model. Yeah, I mean, I'm with Steve. Like, just take it at 6.5. I mean, shit, it was at 5.5. I wish I could have got it at that number. I think there was so much unknown, and there is unknown here. They have held this close to the vest, and good on them. Good on them. I mean, I think if we zoom out and we don't overreact, what do we actually know about this injury? It happened in the Bears game. When it happened, the dude threw 9 more passes, and he went, I think, 7 for 9 to be played. Last week, what did they really have to play for? They already beat him once. They have Minshew. They don't want. It's very hard to beat a team 3 times. Do they really want to show them everything they got just to beat them in the regular season and lose them in the playoffs? And then they just have to win one of these 2 games, of which, by the way, are pretty easy opponents. And you give them an extra week of rest. I think this is just them playing strategy and not giving information because there's no incentive. Right. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see 0 drop off from a non-throwing shoulder, because this is a non-throwing shoulder, by the way. And this is a gift at 6.5. Now, if the number says 7 and non-adjusted EPA line says 13, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is more similar to what we saw last week with the 49ers. Now, the Saints are in this weird, precarious place where I don't know, they're kind of playing for the playoffs, but can they really? Jameis is somewhere fishing. They got the Red Rocket in there. You know, I don't really know what to make of this Saints team. They've underachieved in our minds. But they, beat up on the Browns. Well, I wouldn't say beat up, but they, played the Browns tough. It's hard to know. And then I think there was a couple of injuries on defense for the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken, last week, which sucks. But I think that why is it a little bit lower than probably it should be?
Remind me again, real quick, who have the Eagles lost to? The Cowboys, and who else did they lose to?
Washington Commies.
Really? What week was that?
8.
I get it. Was okay.
Or 9.
It somewhat puts a dent.
Yeah.
It somewhat puts a dent into my argument here. But what I was going to say is, for as great, and we talked about it earlier in the efficiency stuff, they've been consistent all year. They don't really have letdowns against teams, and I guess the Commanders, if you want to say it, can be classified as one of those. But when they are supposed to win,
the Colts play them tough.
Yeah,
they were losing to the Colts most of the game.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, the Colts have played a few teams tough. Yeah, they've been interesting.
They only beat Chicago by 5.
Was it 5?
I mean, it's the NFL.
All right, I guess my argument is dead. I'll stop.
Okay, all right.
Poking holes in it as we go along here, but I'm not expecting 7 again is the key number, and that's what.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've already locked it in anyhow, so it doesn't matter.
6.5. Get it.
Yeah.
It's -110, 6.5 right now. I mean, get it while you can. I mean, I don't know if it'll move to 7, but 7 sucks because in order to win, you got to win by 2 possessions, and that's less probable than winning by 1 possession, no matter how you slice it.
Right. Okay, 6.5 Eagles. I feel good about that one. I think we all do. Last one on the card this week: Patriots -2.5 against the Tua-less Dolphins. So this one again, for me, it's like this
one hurts.
I am a little emotionally conflicted about it. Like, yes, on the defensive side of the ball, they're a juggernaut basically, and kind of have been most of the year. But who the hell knows what they're going to trot out offensively? It's anemic at times. It's really ugly. I mean, look at the EPAs per run per pass. It's abysmal, right? It's not good. So 2.5 is palatable here, especially when they're going against a backup in New England. Maybe that accounts for something there, but I don't know. You just can't trust this team for much this year. So I'm curious to get. How do you feel about this one, Steve? Because it's not going to make me sleep well personally.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not nearly as worried about you as you are, man. Yes. The offense has pause for concern, without a doubt. But again, I mean, look, you want to look at DVOA. I mean, look at Miami's defense, right? This is not a juggernaut. This is a very beatable team, and you look at all these offensive ranks and the plays and the explosiveness, right? There's a big drop off from Tua to Teddy, and I love Teddy. I'm rooting for Teddy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But let's call it what it is, right? Like, this is what Tua at the helm. And so that's going to play right into New England's strengths. So, yeah, I love 2.5. Now, 3.5, okay, I'm a little worried, all right? But 2.5, I love that number, key number there. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah, and to your point, Steve, when have we seen, just like Green Bay? I mean, it's the same thesis. When have we seen Green Bay do well? When have we seen New England do well on offense against really bad defenses? This is the opportunity. They got shellacked the first game 1. We were on Patriots then 2. And really, they were in that game. And what happened? They gave up a defensive touchdown. They took a sack fumble. And that was a touchdown. And they gave up Waddle, down deep. But I think there were 2 defensive touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. So I think this is a bit of a better team now for New England. I'm with you that the offense scares you. Yes, 3.5, no bueno. I get this at 2.5. It's been moving. It moved to 3. That made me feel good. Now it's moved back to. I honestly think the number's 3, and that's what we're going to see from the action that's dictating this. At 3, it's probably a bet for Miami, and at 2.5, it's a coin flip. And so if you can get it at +3, I think you're probably going to get a lot of people taking that for Miami because it's most probable it's going to end in a field goal. Because that's this type of game. Teddy 2 gloves. Now the model doesn't take into account the fact that he wears 2 gloves and his hands should be warm. But I don't know. This one scares me. This one scares the shit out of me. This one is like I want to do the parlay, but this one's the one where I'm like, do I just leave it out?
Right.
So I don't know. This one.
Yeah.
I just think that offense is just really, really bad. Now, the interesting thing here, unadjusted EPA line.
I want to go back to the chart here for a sec.
Okay, yeah, and actually this plays in right what I was going to say.
Yeah,
the unadjusted EPA line is 1.7 for New England, meaning they're favored by 1.7 points. So they're not even really giving them home field advantage.
Right.
Interesting.
So last 4 weeks, they're basically middle of the road, basically average in terms of offensive EPA.
Yeah, but look at the Dolphins. Look how low they are. They're bad on defense, and they're worse than New England.
Yep.
And New England, who have they played in that stretch? Bengals.
Yeah.
Bills.
Yeah. Bengals, Raiders, Bills, and Cardinals.
I think it said they were the number 1 strength of schedule actually played. If we go, I'll go back. We'll go back to the chart in a sec here. But so yeah, and then looking in the aggregate here, I mean, I can't quite tell how many are behind them, but bottom 3rd looks like thereabouts. Offensively,
I have the numbers. I have the numbers here.
Handful of teams behind them, so it's just so inconsistent, and that's just.
So they're one of the best defensive teams.
I had that backwards. It was the Dolphins who played, who had the first ranked strength of schedule plays. So that's fascinating.
So New England's defense is 7 points better than average. So they allow 7 points more than average, but they're
less.
But their offense scores 3 points less. Yeah, sorry, less. They give up less points, 7 points less than average, but their offense scores 3 points less than average. Now Miami is almost their dead peer in a net standpoint. So these teams are net similar, but they have very different games. Miami is 5 points better offensively, but they are 2.5 points worse defensively. So pick your poison, basically.
I'm going to pick my poison.
The thing is
the
here,
Patriots.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, no, exactly. You got better defense, but to be honest, given those numbers, I'd probably lean Miami, but this isn't Tua. So do you get the same offensive efficiency? It's got to take a bit of a step back. I gotta believe, right?
Yeah, and
maybe not though. Teddy has shown us that he could step up. So, but I guess hey, look, it first play. Can we just get a concussion for Teddy? We've seen this once before.
Jeez.
Who's this? Skylar Thompson? Who are
I mean, I'm not wishing for nobody. I'm not wishing for nobody to get hurt. I'm just saying we had this whole thesis, Teddy, blah blah blah, and first play he got injured. So maybe he's older. He's older,
and he's fragile. He is fragile. We know that.
It is indeed. So I don't know.
All right,
this one does scare me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I'm with you though. Okay, so that said, again, Vikings +3 or +3.5. I think right now most places Patriots and Eagles, two favorites and one dog here. So, have you decided yet? Are you on the fence, Seth, about whether or not you're actually gonna do a fun little family parlay or some type of teaser with it even?
FanDuel has right now. They moved it to 3 for the Vikings.
Okay.
I think 3.5 is the number. Don't you guys?
Yeah.
I do. I agree with that.
Okay. So
let me put it this way.
Go.
I don't know if this is cheating or not, because we have the individual plays, but I'm parlaying these three. I'm gonna buy the 0.5 point. I'm gonna buy the alternate spread for Vikings +3.5, and I'm gonna parlay these 3 games. This is 3-0 week. This is a 3-0 week.
All right. Well, I mean, Seth, for what it's worth, we locked in 3.5 already for Vikings.
Yeah. For the individuals. Right. So okay, I just did it. I made it. I'm going back. 3 legs. Philadelphia -6.5. New England -2.5. Minnesota Vikings 3.5. I did. It's -120. $300 wins. 1663.
Okay, it's a better unit. It's a better unit to win. Let's go.
Apparently it's a bad bet because my $300 ticket is worth 207.
Yeah, I don't know why. I haven't figured out the rhyme or reason there as to somewhere, and I'm sure there's plenty of math behind it to understand this if I looked into it. But when you get automatic or like instantaneous cash out, quote unquote, value for some parlays or even some straights versus others, it doesn't. I can't find a
probability of them winning. No, it's a probability of winning. So if they're cashing you out at all, there's some probability of winning, and the more that it's worth
than what you
paid, the higher the probability.
Right, but there's no, especially in a parlay situation, there's no scenario where you're going to get probably even money cash out value as soon as you placed it. Right.
I don't know. I don't do parlays. I mean, responsible, responsible guys, but yeah, go Steve.
Yeah, as the king of the 10-legger, let me tell you this. So no, do not condone. But I think they're, to Seth's point, at some point it does come probability, but I think a lot of it too is just like I'm gonna call it. So when you first place a parlay, sometimes they will let you cash out for that same value if there's been absolutely no movement. Like if you place a 3-legger on next week's game, you probably can cash out at the same time. I have seen it where like I've hit 3 or 4 legs out of like a 17 parlay, right? Where I've hit 3 110 legs and they'll give me my money back, even though the other 6 haven't played yet. So I don't know. It's not like, it definitely is probability based. The closer you get, I think the closer you get to fulfilling it, it truly is on the odds. You see a better reflection, but I think at some point early on, they're fucking with you, man. They're like, "Oh, come on, you're not gonna get that." Come on, what are you thinking?
That's funny.
Or they want you to be like, "Well, I need my money. I'm pulling out."
Yeah.
Like, no, they do fuck with you. They fuck with your mentals, no doubt about it.
They do. So, but I think. Go ahead.
We have a future for Eagles at +3,000. +3,000. The current market is +450. And it's worth only $700, and it was a $170 bet. They want you to be dumb. That ticket is worth that. I went through a calculation. That ticket's worth at least like 2.2K. Just hedging out, from playoffs, assuming they lock up first place.
Right.
But again, that's a probabilistic thing here. We'll see. I mean, Hurts could die, but I mean, who knows?
I forget who said. Did you say Steve 3-0?
Yep, you heard it here first.
Seth, you just parlayed him, so you're.
I parlayed it, so I think
so you're on the same boat.
I think it goes. I think it goes. Okay. I don't have a good feeling about this week. I'm not gonna lie. I think we say Vikings fraudulent, and then Aaron Rodgers schools them, and then the Patriots lose, and the Eagles win by 3.
Yeah. Well, hey, I don't think it's prime time on the Vikings game, so we got that narrative at least going for us. It's an 11 a.m.er, I believe.
Or is Kirk Cousins the most clutched man that's ever lived, and he's just proven it to us? He just came back from the most improbable game on prime time. It was the only game on a Saturday. Yeah, maybe we've had the theory all wrong. Saturday's not for the boys; it's for Kirk Cousins.
I hope that remains to be the case, even though this game is not on Saturday this week, but
not this week.
I don't know. Yeah, I might sprinkle the parlay, but I'm not going to bet a unit on it. I don't have the wherewithal or confidence in. Frankly, the Patriots scare me more than the Vikings.
3.5 is not bad. I think 3.5.
Yeah, exactly why. So I like 3.5, but 3 is good. So I think 2-1, and I think the Patriots find a way for 3 weeks in a row to fuck it up and probably blow one.
Yeah, or the Dolphins go 5 weeks in a row. I don't know.
Hey, there's that too. Like you can't count it out, but I do smell another winning week overall. So I think that's the takeaway for me for sure. So.
In the last minutes, unrelated to these 3 cards, what are you guys making of the Derek Carr stuff? You want to pull up the EPA?
Oh God, yeah.
I don't claim to be any expert, and I definitely don't follow the news on Derek Carr very much, but I'm not following what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it certainly seems like they are packing it up for this year to keep Derek Carr healthy for next year. And I don't know if next year means, because I believe I thought he had a no trade clause, but I could be wrong on that.
No, so across the board, what I'm hearing over and over and over from media is they're going to cut him. This is right. Yeah. This is them signaling they're going to cut him, not rest him. Cut him.
No. And that's my second theory, because they save, I think it's like $40 million. If he's not injured and they cut him, then they save a ton of money. So I don't know.
To where though? But I don't know who you're gonna get. I guess they're gonna get Tom Brady. McDaniels thinks he's gonna hook back up with Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's a lot of what ifs. A lot of shit has to fall into place.
I asked the question because look at the EPA. They're a mediocre offense. They're a middle of the road offense with a below average defense. And now this doesn't have the splits of run and pass, but I mean, Derek Carr hasn't had the best season, but that team hasn't had the best season. Now, Josh Jacobs has done pretty good, but I mean, they've struggled. They struggled.
Right.
They have, yeah. Yeah. I don't fully, there's some, not nefarious, but there's some in between the lines stuff going on. I think he currently leads the league in interceptions.
Because there's a story in there. There's a prop bet. I think he was like plus 350 to lead the league, and he is at 14, and he's being benched for the last 2 weeks. So that could be an awesome bad beat alert if you had.
100%. Yeah, but there's all kinds of weird shit that goes. The carryover spillover effect. Like Devontae Adams was coming out, be like, "Yeah, that's my guy." Blah blah blah. Like if you cut Carr, does Devontae like one out?
There's he was tweeting cryptic stuff. Basically, he's gonna demand a trade.
Yeah, so
except if they're going for Tom Brady, I guess he probably wouldn't want to stay.
He'd be like, "Oh, wait a sec, I'm cool with this." Yes,
right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Derek Carr leads the league with 14. Tie for second's a 3-way tie. Matt Ryan, who is
he's done.
But then you got Davis Mills at 13. For the Texans.
That team has like a round robin of quarterbacks. They've seriously been just rotating 3 guys. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then you got Josh Allen also tied for 13. So
interesting.
Should we have 6 minutes before an hour, so why don't we fill the time if you guys are okay, and let's iron out the 2 other circa picks.
2 other circas?
Yeah.
All right, so here let's hone in on. I'll just keep it here for a second. All All right. What does I don't have it up in front of me if one of you do
let me pull it up.
The model for this week, but which game was it? What does it say about the Giants game? Because that one on paper to me smells pretty fresh.
You don't like the Giants. Why do you not like the Giants?
No, I like it.
You've been picking up on the Giants. You pick on the Giants all the time. You call them out like every week. Our model line says it's 5, and it's 5. It was 5. I'm assuming it.
Yeah, 5.5.
Margin plays for the model where it's like the closest would be Cincinnati +1, which I love. You know me, I love that bet. And sorry, Steve. And
it doesn't matter now. Yeah,
you guys will love this. It actually, and it should. It does not like Washington with Wentz starting.
Yeah. Ooh. We haven't had a chance to fade him in a while, have we?
We haven't. But
for old time's sake,
if we were gonna go by the EPA,
right,
it really likes Jacksonville. It says there's so these are unadjusted lines, but it says there's a 9-point margin for Jacksonville.
That line's only 4. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said Giants is at 5.
It likes San Francisco a lot more than it is now with the car news, so it's probably a stay away. Philly, we were already taking them. Green Bay, we're already taking them. Or Minnesota.
So let me just go down the list real quick, just to kind of see if I can get any trigger reactions out of you guys. All right.
Okay.
Just for a second exercise. All right. So we got Panthers versus Bucks. Panthers +3. You got Browns versus Commanders. Yeah, Browns versus Commanders. Browns +2.5, which I agree. Steelers versus Ravens. Steelers +2.5. We already got the Eagles. Cardinals versus Falcons. Cardinals +3.5. Jags versus Texans. Jags -4. Bears versus Lions. Bears +6. We already got we're already taking the Patriots. Although they're at 3 for Circa. Just FYI.
Okay. For what?
For what? Patriots -3 over Dolphins for the Circa pick.
That does change that thing a lot, but whatever.
Yeah. Broncos versus Chiefs. Broncos +12.5. Colts versus Giants. Colts +5.5. Jets versus Seahawks. Jets -1.5. Niners versus Raiders. Niners -9.5.
Okay.
Vikings versus Pack. We're getting Vikings at the 3.5 mark. Rams versus Chargers. Rams +6.5, and then Bills versus Bengals. Bills -1.
Okay. I did jot it down, but what was Eagles at? Were they at 7 or 6.5?
Eagles are at 5.5.
Yeah, because that's where it was because of the injury. Yeah, I know.
That's
so crazy.
Okay.
Broncos country, let's ride. I would vote Jacksonville. See, the model doesn't like that though. It doesn't like Jacksonville. I would vote Browns +2.5 and
Giants.
I don't think Kevin. I can't get both. Sorry, I can't do the Giants.
Okay.
Our model and the EPA both say the number's 5.
Okay,
so
it's 5.5.
Just from what's the margin? Yeah,
nothing. Yeah, there's none.
I mean, you'd have to make me a compelling. I mean, the Colts are dead, but aren't the Giants? If the Colts are dead, the Giants are zombies.
Okay, that's not ridiculous.
5.5 is a lot for a zombie. My votes would be Cleveland +2.5 and Jacksonville, I guess. Even though the Jackson really isn't really supported by the model pick, it's one more EPA driven. I don't, Steve. What's your? Give me something.
Yeah,
what else?
My gut would be Browns +2.5 and Niners -9.5. I don't see how Stidham's going to move the ball. I mean that defense is elite.
Yeah, but defense we've seen. But we've seen San Francisco. Like defense is not as consistent as offense now. Stidham. I don't want a 9. We win 100K. 9 is why. Let's not do it. Let's not do 9 because San Francisco already locked up playoffs.
Yeah, but they're not out of it in terms of seeding, right? Have they locked up their seeding?
They won. They locked up conference, and I don't know about seeding,
division,
but like,
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, they're in the playoffs, so they can play things weird. 9's 2 possessions. They can get up there 1 and then just start playing the game differently, and then we just the back door. I don't like it. No. So what's Jacksonville's +4?
-4.
Sorry, I mean.
Oh yeah.
Is Detroit versus Chicago too many?
Oh, dude, I'm staying. I'm
no, okay.
Yeah, I would.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. If you don't like the Niners, or if it's not supported, because I would be kind of down for that too. Browns +2.5, right?
So we all like the Browns.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
So that's
okay.
one.
Browns playing. Okay, so that's the one. So if it's 2 against 1, if it's 2 against 1 on San Francisco, then let's just do San Francisco. What's Seattle, New Jersey? New York Jets.
Seattle
1.5.
Yeah, Seattle's +1.5.
Mike White's back, right?
Yeah.
It's that dog. I don't know. Pull some bullshit magic again. So. Yeah,
I thought we all loved. Oh, never mind. We already came together to bet against Carson Wentz. That was Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out.
All
Cincinnati.
right.
Cincinnati.
Oh, man.
Is at +1.
I know.
It's a coin flip to me. Yeah, Cincinnati very well can win that win. I have no doubts they can win that game. But so could the Bills. In a game that matters.
Mm-hmm.
I guess put it like this. And I get what you're saying, Seth. I guess I feel as nervous about the Bengals winning against the Bills as you feel as nervous about the Niners covering the 9.5. I get it. I am with you. I'm with you.
Who's more liable to make mistakes? Joe Burrow or Josh Allen or Jared fucking Stidham, first NFL career.
Josh Allen be throwing picks like it's fucking cool.
But at least we know he can do some.
But the thing is, everyone's got to be scared shitless on the Raiders. They're gonna come out swinging because they're like, oh, they're gonna cut Derek Carr. They're gonna cut me too.
Hey, they're bringing a fucking bat to a machine gun fight. It doesn't matter.
I don't think so.
Or they just
look,
like
it's 2 against 1.
What's the purpose here? I mean, if Devontae is liking the Packers tweets and tweets about critical of the Raiders, and Josh Jacobs like, I don't know what more I can do here.
How cool would it be if Devontae got cut now and Hackett both went back to the Packers before the season ended? That would be some of the coolest things ever. All right, you guys. I mean, I'm not gonna be happy, but let's do San Francisco. I'm not gonna be. I mean, I don't mean like I'm not gonna be like. No. I don't like it, but
yeah, I'm with you.
But God bless. I mean, with Carr, the model says the line is 6.8.
Sure.
Now with an unadjusted EPA line, the line says 9. What is it? 9.5 or 9?
Yeah.
9.5.
9.5.
Yeah, 9.5.
Y'all are wild. I mean, the model says the most they can win is 20 by 21. All right.
All we need is 10. All right. Browns +2 or 2.5, whatever it is, and then Niners.
All right. So we got Browns +2.5. Just to be sure, we got Patriots -3, Niners -9.5, Vikings +3.5, and Eagles -5.5. Those are our 5 picks.
Okay.
All right.
Locked it in. Lock and load, baby. So, well, that'll do it, baby. Let's hope for another week. Let's hope for another good, profitable week. Hopefully we can make some ground up in Circuit 2. Let's just end 2022 on a high note, baby, or go into 2023 rather on a high note.
First January 1st is these games.
Yeah,
2023, baby.
So happy New Year, everyone. Be safe, celebrate hard. Let's win some money. We'll see you for next week's board meeting.
Let's go, Duncan.
All right.